Oh my God.
The old man arrived in Dusty Creek at the time when the sun was dying. His name was Samuel, and nobody knew where he came from. He walked down the empty road with nothing but a small bag and clothes that were torn and dirty. The wind picked up dust around his feet. Nobody came out to meet him. Nobody cared. Samuel was broken. Everyone could see it. His left leg did not work the same way as his right leg. When he walked, he made a sound one step heavy, one step light. Heavy, light, heavy, light. The noise followed him through the town like a ghost that would not go away. His face was old and weathered. His eyes were sad, a kind of sad that comes from losing something you love. He found work at Miller's Ranch, the biggest ranch near the town. The work was simple and hard. Samuel had to take care of the animals, clean the stables, and carry hay from place to place. Mr. Miller did not pay him much, but Samuel did not ask for much. He just wanted a place to sleep and food to eat. Every morning, Samuel woke up before the sun. He moved slowly through the dark, his bad leg making the heavy light sound on the wooden floor. He went to the barn and began his work. The horses would see him coming, and they would wait. They knew Samuel would feed them. They knew Samuel would be kind. But there was one horse that was different. This horse was called Storm. She was a beautiful black Mustang with a white mark on her face. But Storm was not happy like the other horses. She was angry. She kicked at her stall. She did not eat much. When people tried to touch her, she would run away. Mr. Miller said Storm was a bad horse. He said she was cursed. He said nobody could help her. "She will never be good," Mr. Miller said one day. "That horse has a broken spirit." Samuel heard these words. He did not say anything. But that night, he sat outside Storm's stall and just looked at her. The horse looked back at him. For a long time, they just watched each other. The next morning, Samuel did something different. Instead of giving Storm food in her usual way, he sat down near her stall and broke bread into pieces. He did not call her. He did not try to touch her. He just sat there and ate his own breakfast, dropping small pieces of bread on the ground. Storm watched. Samuel came back the next day, and the next day, and the day after that. For 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, Samuel sat and ate his breakfast near Storm's stall. He never forced the horse to come. He never made her eat. He just sat there, quiet and patient, like he was waiting for something. One morning, everything changed. Samuel sat down with his bread. He was thinking about his daughter. He had not seen her in 5 years. They had fought about something he could not remember now. She had left the ranch and went to the city to find a better life. Samuel had been too proud to follow her, too proud to say he was sorry. Now he did not know if she was alive or dead. He did not know if she would ever forgive him. Samuel began to cry. Not loud crying, just quiet tears running down his old face. He did not notice when Storm came closer. But suddenly, the horse was standing right next to him. Storm had come out of her stall for the first time in many months. She walked slowly toward the sad old man. Samuel's tears fell on the ground. Storm bent her head down and sniffed the tears. Then Storm did something nobody had ever seen her do. She lay down. She put her body down on the ground, right next to Samuel. Her head rested near his lap, and she stayed there. She did not run away. She did not kick. She did not fight. She just lay there, quiet and still, as if she was saying, "I know you are sad. I am sad too." Samuel stopped crying. His hand moved slowly toward Storm's neck. He touched her fur. It was soft and warm. The horse did not move away. She let him touch her. She let him rest his broken hand on her body. From that day on, everything was different. Samuel and Storm became best friends. Every morning, Samuel would open Storm's stall, and the horse would follow him everywhere. When Samuel worked in the barn, Storm would stand nearby and watch. When Samuel sat outside to rest his bad leg, Storm would come and stand beside him. People began to see them together, a broken old man and the angry black horse, walking through the ranch like they were one. Mr. Miller was surprised. He said, "How did you do this? Nobody could help Storm." Samuel just smiled. He did not explain. He did not have words to explain what had happened. Something magical had happened between the man and the horse, something that did not need words. The other workers began to watch them. They saw that Samuel treated Storm different from all the other horses. He would talk to her. He would tell her things. He would touch her neck and her face. And Storm would listen. The horse would close her eyes when Samuel spoke. She would rest her head on his shoulder. One day, a young ranch boy named Tommy asked Samuel, "Why does that horse love you so much?" Samuel looked at the boy. Then he looked at Storm. The horse was standing in the field, her black body shining in the sunlight. "Because," Samuel said slowly, "we both know what it means to be broken. We both know what it means to feel alone. And we both know that sometimes when someone sits with you in your sadness, without trying to fix you, that is the greatest gift in the world." The boy did not fully understand, but he would understand one day. The sun was setting over Dusty Creek. Samuel sat on a bench outside the barn. Storm came and stood in front of him. Samuel reached out and touched her face. The horse closed her eyes. They sat there together in the golden light, a broken man and a broken horse, not broken anymore, but healed by each other's presence. The question hung in the air, unspoken but powerful. What happens when two broken things find each other? Can they become whole?
2 months passed. The summer sun burned hot over Dusty Creek, and the land turned brown and dry. Samuel and Storm were inseparable now. Every morning, the horse would wait at her stall door for Samuel to arrive. Every evening, she would follow him to the small cabin where he slept. The other workers talked about it. They said Samuel had magic. They said the horse could read his mind. Samuel never said anything. He just worked and cared for Storm and lived his quiet life. But something was changing inside Samuel. One night, as he sat outside his cabin, he held an old, worn letter in his hands. The letter was from his daughter. It had arrived 3 weeks ago. Samuel had not opened it. He was afraid of what it would say. He was afraid that she did not forgive him. He was afraid that she hated him for being too proud, too stubborn, too broken to be her father. Storm came and sat beside him. She always knew when Samuel was sad. The horse would rest her head on his shoulder, waiting for him to be ready. "I am scared," Samuel whispered to the horse. "What if she does not want to see me? What if I waited too long?" Storm did not answer, but she stayed close. She always stayed close. The next morning, everything changed. A messenger came to the ranch. Mr. Miller called Samuel to the main house. Samuel's heart was beating fast. He was worried. Nobody good came to the ranch with important messages. Mr. Miller sat on his porch, drinking water. He looked serious. "Samuel," he said, "I have bad news and good news." Samuel waited. "The bad news is that I cannot keep you here anymore," Mr. Miller said. "Times are hard. I have to let some workers go. I am sorry, but you have to leave in 3 days." Samuel felt his world falling. 3 days. He had nowhere to go. He had no family, no money, no future. He was an old, broken man with nothing. But then Mr. Miller smiled. "The good news is that there's a family coming from the city next week. They want to buy one horse, a special horse, a horse that is healthy and has a good spirit. They will pay a lot of money, enough to help you start a new life somewhere else." Samuel understood immediately. Mr. Miller was talking about Storm. "She is beautiful now," Mr. Miller continued. "She is healthy. She is calm. You did this, Samuel. You fixed her. Now I can sell her for a good price. You will get half the money. You can leave here and start over." Samuel did not hear the rest. His mind was on Storm. They wanted to take her away. They wanted to sell her to strangers. They wanted to separate them. He went to Storm's stall that night. The horse came to him immediately, pressing her head against his chest. Samuel put his arms around her neck and held her tight. He could feel her breathing. He could feel her heart beating. "Do not worry," he said, even though he did not know if it was true. "I will not let them take you." The next morning, Samuel did something that surprised everyone. He told Mr. Miller that Storm was sick. He said the horse could not be sold because she was not healthy. Mr. Miller looked confused. Storm looked perfectly healthy and beautiful. But Samuel was a good worker, and Mr. Miller trusted him. "Wait a few days," Samuel said. "I will make her better. Then you can sell her." Mr. Miller agreed. But Samuel did not make Storm better. Instead, he did the opposite. He made it look like Storm was getting worse. He made the horse seem tired and sad. He stopped brushing her coat. He made her stand in the sun all day without moving. He made her look broken again. By the third day, Storm really did look sick. Her beautiful black coat was dusty. Her eyes were sad. She did not run or play anymore. She just stood in her stall and waited for Samuel. When the family came from the city to buy the horse, they looked disappointed. "This horse is not healthy," the woman said. "We want a strong horse." Mr. Miller was angry with Samuel. "You lied to me," he said. "You made her look bad, so I could not sell her." Samuel did not deny it. He just looked at Storm. The horse was watching him with those sad eyes. "I know," Samuel said quietly. "I'm sorry, but I cannot let her go. She is the only family I have left." Something about the way Samuel said this made Mr. Miller stop being angry. The old man understood. He understood that some bonds cannot be broken by money or business. Some bonds are stronger than that. Mr. Miller walked away without saying anything. That night, Mr. Miller came to Samuel's cabin. "You have to leave tomorrow," he said. "You have to take the horse and go. I cannot keep paying you, and I cannot sell the horse anymore. You two have to figure out your own future." Samuel packed a small bag. He had very little, just clothes and a blanket and the old letter from his daughter that he still had not opened. The next morning, before the sun came up, Samuel and Storm left the ranch. Samuel rode on Storm's back, and the horse walked slowly down the dusty road toward nothing. They had no destination. They had no plan. They had only each other. As they rode away from Dusty Creek, Storm did something strange. She did not walk slowly and tired like she had looked. Instead, she began to walk strong and proud. Her head came up. Her eyes became bright. It was as if she knew something Samuel did not know. It was as if the horse understood that they were going somewhere important. "Where are we going, girl?" Samuel asked, running his hand along her neck. Storm did not answer, but she walked faster. She walked like she had a purpose. She walked like she knew the way. Samuel realized something as they rode through the early morning light. They were both broken. They had both suffered. They had both felt alone. But together, they were not broken anymore. Together, they were strong. The road stretched out ahead of them. Empty, lonely, but theirs. The question whispered across the desert wind. What does a man do when he has nothing left but a horse? And what does a horse do when she has nothing left but a man? Days became weeks. Samuel and Storm traveled across empty land that seemed to have no end. There were no towns. There were no other people. Just two travelers, one broken man and one broken horse, moving through a world that did not care about them. The road was hard. Samuel's bad leg hurt more with each day of riding. At night, he would climb down from Storm's back slowly and painfully. His leg would shake. His body would ache. But he never complained. He never sat and felt sorry for himself. Instead, he would care for Storm first. Samuel would find water for the horse. He would search for grass and plants that Storm could eat. He would check her hooves and make sure they were not hurt. Only after Storm was fed and rested would Samuel eat his own small portion of food. Only after the horse was comfortable would he rest his own broken body. Storm watched this. She understood. One afternoon, they reached a place where the land became very rocky and dangerous. The path was narrow. On one side was a cliff. On the other side was a long drop that meant death. Samuel was afraid. His hands were shaking as he guided Storm along the narrow path. "Be careful, girl," he whispered. "One wrong step and we fall." Storm did not rush. She did not panic. She walked slowly, carefully, testing each step before putting her full weight on it. Samuel realized that the horse was protecting him. She was making sure that each step was safe. She was leading him, not the other way around. When they finally reached flat land again, Samuel got down from Storm and hugged her tight. "Thank you," he said. "You saved my life." The horse stood there, letting him hold her. She had become more than his friend. She had become his protector. She had become the strong one. She had become his reason to keep living. 3 weeks after leaving the ranch, they came to a small town called Silvergate. Samuel did not want to go there. He was afraid of people. He was afraid they would take Storm away. He was afraid they would see he was old and broken and not worthy of keeping a beautiful horse. But they needed supplies. They were almost out of food. Samuel's clothes were torn and dirty. His leg was infected from a small cut that would not heal. So they entered the town. The first person they met was an old woman sitting on a bench outside a general store. Her name was Mrs. Elena. She was ancient, older than Samuel. Her face was wrinkled like old leather. Her eyes were kind. She looked at Samuel and Storm and smiled. "Where are you headed?" she asked. Samuel did not know how to answer. Where was he headed? He had no plan. He had no destination. He was just running away. "I do not know," he said honestly. Mrs. Elena nodded. She stood up slowly, even slower than Samuel moved. "Come," she said. "Let me help you." She took them to the back of her store. There was a small yard where Storm could drink water and rest. She brought food for Samuel, real food, warm food, the kind that fills your stomach and makes you feel human again. "You are running from something," Mrs. Elena said. It was not a question. "I'm running from my past," Samuel said quietly. "I made mistakes. I hurt people I loved. Now I'm all alone." Mrs. Elena sat down across from him. "I was alone too," she said. "For many years. My husband left me. My children did not visit. I thought my life was over. I thought I had nothing left." Samuel listened. "But one day," Mrs. Elena continued, "a bird came to my window. A small, sick bird that could not fly. It was dying. I took care of it anyway. I fed it. I kept it warm. For weeks, I cared for that bird. And you know what happened?" Samuel shook his head. "The bird got better," Mrs. Elena said. "And I got better too. By saving something else, I saved myself. By caring for something, I became alive again." Samuel looked out the window at Storm. The horse was eating grass in the yard. She was healthy now. She was beautiful. She was no longer angry or broken. "I did the same thing," Samuel said slowly. "I took care of her because I was broken, but she took care of me because she loved me." Mrs. Elena smiled. "That is how love works in this world, Samuel. We heal each other. We save each other. That is the only magic that exists." That night, Samuel slept in a real bed for the first time in weeks. His leg felt better. His body felt rested. He had a full stomach. But more than anything, he felt hope. The next morning, Mrs. Elena gave him a package. Inside was food for the road, clean clothes, medicine for his leg, a new pair of shoes that would be easier to walk in. "Why are you helping me?" Samuel asked. "You do not know me." "Because you needed help," Mrs. Elena said simply. "And because you're teaching me something." "What am I teaching you?" Samuel asked. "You are showing me that broken things can be beautiful," she said. "You are showing me that a broken man and a broken horse can be whole together. That is a beautiful thing, Samuel. That is a story worth telling." Before they left the town, Samuel finally opened the letter from his daughter. With shaking hands and tears in his eyes, he read her words. "Dear Father, I forgive you. I have forgiven you for a long time. I did not know where to find you, but I wanted you to know that I love you. Please forgive yourself." Samuel cried. But these were not sad tears. These were healing tears, the kind of tears that wash away pain and make room for hope. He climbed onto Storm's back. The horse began to walk. But this time, she walked in a direction. This time, they had a purpose. This time, Samuel understood what he had to do. They were going to find his daughter. They were going to go home. Storm seemed to know this. The horse walked strong and proud, her hooves making a steady rhythm on the dusty road. Samuel sat tall in the saddle, no longer bent and broken by shame. Behind them, Mrs. Elena watched them go. She understood what was happening. She understood that sometimes love is not just about the heart. Sometimes love is about the journey. Sometimes love is about a broken man and a beautiful horse teaching the world that healing is possible. The road ahead was long, but they would travel it together. The question hung in the desert air like morning mist. The map that Mrs. Elena gave Samuel showed the way to the city where his daughter lived. It was called Riverside City. It was 10 days away by horse if the weather was good. If the weather was bad, it could take much longer. The weather was bad. 2 days after leaving Silver Gate, the sky turned dark. Not the normal dark of evening. This was a dark that came in the middle of the day. A dark that meant danger. Samuel knew the signs. He had lived in the West long enough to understand that a storm was coming. A big storm. The kind that could kill a man and a horse if they were not careful. "We need to find shelter," Samuel said to Storm. The horse's ears moved toward his voice. She always listened. They rode faster, looking for a place to hide. But the desert was empty. There were no buildings. There were no caves. There was only open land that stretched forever in all directions. The first drops of rain came, then more. It was raining so hard that Samuel could not see Storm's neck in front of him. The wind screamed. Lightning cut the sky like a knife. Thunder shook the ground beneath them. "Keep going," Samuel shouted, but the storm swallowed his words. Storm did not stop. The horse walked forward even though she was afraid. Samuel could feel her fear. He could feel her body shaking. But she did not run away. She did not panic. She just moved forward one step at a time into the terrible storm. The rain turned to hail. Small balls of ice fell from the sky and hit Samuel's face and Storm's body. It hurt. Each piece of hail was like a stone thrown at them. Samuel bent low over Storm's neck to protect his face. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I'm sorry I brought you into this." Storm's ears moved back toward him. The horse seemed to understand that Samuel was apologizing. And in that moment, Samuel felt the horse do something incredible. Storm ran faster, not away from the storm, toward it, into it. The horse ran like she was fighting the storm itself, like she was angry at the weather for trying to stop them, like she was determined to get through to the other side. Samuel held on tight. He trusted Storm completely. He knew that the horse would not run off a cliff. He knew that Storm would not let them both die. He trusted her with his life. For an hour, they rode through the worst storm Samuel had ever seen. Lightning struck the ground near them. Thunder was so loud it hurt his ears. Rain beat down so hard it felt like the sky was trying to wash them away. And then, suddenly, it was over. They came out from under the dark clouds into clear sky. The sun was shining. The rain stopped. They had made it through. Samuel climbed down from Storm's back. His legs could barely hold him. He was shaking with fear and cold. Storm was covered in mud and water. Her beautiful black coat was dirty. Her mane was tangled, but she was alive. They were both alive. Samuel fell to his knees and held Storm's neck. "You saved us again," he said, crying. "You saved my life again." Storm turned her head and rested her face against his shoulder. The horse was breathing hard. She was tired. She was scared. But she was there. She stayed with him. That night, they could not travel anymore. Samuel found a place between some rocks where they could rest and be protected from the wind. He had no dry wood to make a fire. He had little food left, but he still gave most of his food to Storm. "You need your strength more than I do," he told the horse. "You are carrying me toward my daughter. You are more important than me." The next morning, the sun came up bright and hot. The storm had passed, but had changed things. The road ahead was now washed away in many places. The path Samuel was supposed to follow no longer existed. "Where do we go now?" Samuel asked Storm. The horse stood up and looked around. Then she turned and started walking in a direction. Not the direction that the map showed. A different direction. Samuel got on her back and followed. He did not know if Storm was leading him the right way, but he had learned to trust the horse. He had learned that Storm understood things that he did not understand. They rode for 3 days through land that was beautiful but empty. No towns, no people, just rocks and desert and endless sky. On the 4th day, they came to the top of a hill, and below them, Samuel saw something that made his heart stop. A city. It was far away, but he could see it. Lights, buildings, smoke from chimneys. It was Riverside City. His daughter was down there. Somewhere in that city was the person he loved most in the world. Samuel got down from Storm and hugged the horse tight. "You did it," he said. "You brought me here. You brought me home." Storm rested her head on his shoulder. The horse had done what seemed impossible. She had led them through a terrible storm. She had found a way when there was no way. She had brought a broken old man back to his family. But as they looked down at the city, Samuel felt afraid again. What if his daughter did not want to see him? What if she had said she forgave him in the letter, but she did not really mean it? What if she saw him now and was angry? What if he had waited too long? Storm felt his fear. The horse turned and looked at him with wise eyes. It was as if the horse was saying something without words. It was as if Storm was saying, "You are afraid, but you're not alone. I am here. We will go together." Samuel took a deep breath. He climbed back onto Storm's back. Together, they began to ride down the hill toward the city. They were getting close now. They were getting close to the end of the journey. But Samuel did not know if it would be a happy end or a sad end. He only knew that Storm would be with him, no matter what happened. The question whispered through the desert wind. The streets of Riverside City were crowded and loud. Samuel had never seen so many people. He felt small and out of place. His clothes were old and dusty. His face was weathered and brown from the sun. Storm walked beside him carefully, stepping over the wooden planks of the street. People turned to look at them, a broken old man and a black horse with kind eyes. Some people laughed. Some people stared. Samuel did not care. He was looking for one person. Only one person mattered now. He asked a young boy on the street, "Do you know where I can find Sarah Mitchell? She works with children. She teaches them to read." The boy pointed down the street. "The school building. That way. The big white building with the bell on top." Samuel's heart was beating so fast he thought it might break. His daughter was a teacher. She was helping children. She had become something good and important. When he saw the building, he stopped. He could not move. What if she did not want to see him? What if she was angry that he had come without warning? What if she was ashamed of him? Storm felt his fear again. The horse moved forward and gently pushed Samuel with her head. It was as if the horse was saying, "Go. I will be here. You are not alone." Samuel tied Storm to a post outside the school building. He gave the horse some water. He touched her neck one last time for courage. Then he took a deep breath and walked inside. The classroom was full of children. Maybe 10 or 12 young boys and girls sat at wooden desks. A woman stood at the front, writing letters on a board. Her name was written there, Sarah Mitchell. She had her father's eyes. Samuel's legs almost did not work. He had to hold onto the wall to keep from falling. It was really her, after so many years, after so much time and pain and loneliness. She was really there. The children looked at Samuel, a strange, old man in torn clothes standing in their classroom. Sarah turned around. She saw him. For a moment, nothing happened. Time stopped. Past and present came together. Samuel was the father who left her angry. Sarah was the daughter who left him behind. Then Sarah's face changed. Her eyes became wide. Her mouth opened slightly. "Father," she said softly. It was just one word, but it held 5 years of missing him. 5 years of anger. 5 years of love that never went away. "Sarah," Samuel said. His voice was so quiet the children could barely hear it. Sarah put down her chalk. She walked toward him slowly, like she was afraid he might disappear, like she was afraid this was a dream. "What are you doing here?" she asked. Her eyes were filling with tears. "I came to say I am sorry," Samuel said. "I came because I read your letter. I came because I love you. I came because I realized that pride is not more important than family." Sarah's face crumpled. She cried. After 5 years, she finally let herself cry. She ran toward her father and held him tight. Samuel held his daughter like she was the most precious thing in the world. Because she was. "I'm so sorry," he whispered. "I'm so sorry for everything." "I forgive you," Sarah said. "I forgave you a long time ago. I was just waiting for you to forgive yourself." They held each other while the children watched. The children did not understand all of it, but they understood that something important was happening. They understood that a broken thing was being fixed. After a long time, Samuel and Sarah sat down. Sarah told him about her life. She told him about her work. She told him about the children she taught. Samuel told her about the ranch. He told her about the long journey. And he told her about Storm. "I want to meet your horse," Sarah said, wiping her tears. They walked outside together. Storm was waiting. When the horse saw Samuel, she made a sound of happiness. She had been waiting patiently. She had known Samuel would come back. Sarah walked slowly towards Storm. "So you are the one who brought my father back to me," she said softly. Storm lowered her head. The horse let Sarah touch her face. It was as if Storm understood. It was as if the horse knew that this woman was important to Samuel. It was as if Storm was saying hello to the daughter who had once been lost. Sarah put her arms around Storm's neck and cried again. This time it was happy crying. The kind of crying that comes when something you thought was broken is suddenly fixed. "She is beautiful," Sarah said. "She is brave," Samuel said. "She saved my life many times. She brought me through a terrible storm. She found the way when there was no way. She never gave up on me, even when I had given up on myself." Sarah looked at her father. "That sounds like love," she said. Samuel nodded. "It is love. That is what this whole journey has been about. Learning that love is the only real magic in this world." That evening, Sarah took Samuel and Storm to her home. It was a small house with a large yard. There was room for Storm to sleep comfortably. Sarah made food, real, warm food. They sat and talked for hours. Samuel told her about all the years she was gone. Sarah told him about her dreams and her work. And the most important thing happened. They forgave each other. Not with big words or grand gestures, just with the simple truth that they loved each other. That love was stronger than pride. That family was more important than anger. The next morning, Samuel woke up in his daughter's home. He could hear birds singing outside. He could hear Sarah moving in the kitchen. He could hear Storm making sounds in the yard. For the first time in 5 years, Samuel felt like he was home. Later that day, Sarah asked her father, "Will you stay? Will you live here with me?" Samuel looked at his daughter. He looked out the window at Storm. He thought about the long journey. He thought about the broken ranch hand and the broken horse who found each other in the darkness. "Yes," he said, "I will stay. I am done running. I am home." Sarah smiled the biggest smile Samuel had ever seen. "Then let me take care of you now," she said. "Just like you took care of Storm. Just like Storm took care of you." Samuel and Sarah walked outside together. They stood beside Storm. The three of them, a broken old man, a brave horse, and a loving daughter, stood together in the sunshine. Samuel put one hand on his daughter's shoulder and one hand on Storm's neck. He closed his eyes and felt the warmth of the sun. He felt the love of his family. He felt the magic that comes from never giving up. "Thank you," he whispered to Storm. "Thank you for bringing me home." The horse rested her head against his chest. The horse had given him everything. She had given him purpose. She had given him courage. She had given him the strength to face his past and find his future. And in that moment, as they stood together in the golden light, Samuel understood the greatest truth of all. Sometimes the smallest act of kindness, sitting with someone in their sadness, caring for them when nobody else will, can change everything. Sometimes a broken man and a broken horse can teach the world what love really means. The journey was over, but the story of love between Samuel and Storm would be told forever. It would be told to Sarah's children. It would be told to the children in her classroom. It would be passed down and remembered, because it was a story about something that everyone understands. It was a story about never giving up on each other. It was a story about how love heals broken things. It was a story about coming home.